It is a great pleasure and an honor to join this very important national dialogue on the role of just transition in Ghana's national determined contributions, that is the NDC. Today, we gather here to promote inclusive strategies that integrate just transition principles into our national climate agenda. As a sector, we recognize the importance of advancing inclusive labor policies and promoting decent work. A just transition is a moral imperative, and it is also a strategic opportunity to build a more resilient and adaptable world of work. Government, in collaboration with various stakeholders, is committed to supporting the development of a low-carbon economy that safeguards livelihoods and promotes sustainable development. We believe that the transition to a green economy must be inclusive, it must be equitable, and must be sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, the core idea of just transition is to ensure the process of moving from current brown to the green economy where no one is left behind in the shift to a sustainable economy. The approach towards a greener economy must not only address environmental concerns, but also actively mitigate potential social and economic disruptions. This requires useful consideration of the needs of workers, communities, and industries that may be negatively impacted by the transition. As a ministry, we are confident that a just transition must be carefully designed and implemented to help exacerbate existing inequalities and create new opportunities for growth and sustainability. As you may already know, Ghana signed the Paris Agreement on Climate Change in 2016, committing to enhance climate and resilience. To operationalize this commitment, government developed and implemented nationally determined contributions aimed at reducing emissions and mitigating the impact of climate change on the environment and in livelihood. However, we have come to realize that while consequences on the labor market underscoring the need for a just transition that balances environmental goals with social protection and economic opportunities, we advance interventions towards a just transition. We must acknowledge the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Securing adequate funding and resources to support the transition to a low carbon economy is a challenging hurdle, particularly for developing countries with limited financial capacity. This requires that we navigate competing interests and priorities among various actors, including governments, businesses, labor unions, and civil society organizations. It is therefore imperative that we institute innovative policies and programs to support workers in transitioning to new job requirements and opportunities in the green economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is important to emphasize that a just transition also presents a plethora of decent opportunities. This includes creating new job opportunities in emerging green sectors, such as renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, waste management, recycling, ecotourism, and among others. Diversifying local economies has a propensity to reduce dependence on carbon-intensive industries, ensuring more resilience to global market functions. Expanding access to clean energy and improving energy affordability, particularly for low-income households, is a critical aspect of a just transition. By supporting economic growth, local justice, social justice, and environmental protection in a balanced and integrated way, we can achieve the United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. Mr. Chairman, as we transition to a low-carbon economy, we must deepen dialogue with all stakeholders, including workers, communities, and industries representatives. This will help to build trust, promote confidence and transparency, and foster effective collaboration and partnership in the implementation of green interventions. The ministry, our ministry, is committed to the promotion of green jobs at the national and sub-national levels. Government has demonstrated great deal of commitment by developing and implementing the National Green Jobs Strategy to create platforms, develop capacities, and institute measures that will organize and harmonize ongoing green interventions through effective collaborations and coordinations. The ongoing Ghana-EU Pact for Skills project is complementing the implementation of existing green interventions. The ministry will continue to play its role of ensuring that the green job interventions are effectively coordinated and harmonized to support the development of green enterprises. It will also promote a more resilient and adaptable workforce to foster innovation and entrepreneurship in emerging green sectors. At this juncture, permit me to convey my deepest gratitude to the organizers for hosting this crucial event. It is an honor to collaborate with you in advancing a just and inclusive transition that benefits all of us. A transition that has never happened. It's going to create a lot of openings, but it also closes other openings. The insistence is on green economy, which is what we all are working towards, a situation where we will protect our greens, our vegetation, protect our climate, ensure the climate change does not come negatively on us and all that. So if you aim towards a bigger objective of creating value for the country now and in the future, you would also have to make sure you make room for the changes that occur. So my ministry is working towards a situation where we can accommodate the existing fallouts and be able to advise government on policies that can directly have a positive impact on the way changes are going to occur. Work with a situation where we can get the appropriate labor force that will tackle any challenges that are occurring. And I'm working with my colleague because the issue on climate change and effect is a multi-sectoral issue. And it's important that we work with such partner organizations and other ministries that are directly responsible to make sure the right issues are addressed. To curtail it, yes, is to work towards a situation where people are trained appropriately for existing job requirements. And so we insist on the development of TVET in such a way that we have skilled labor coming out to address the present challenges. We have required kind of education that can trust people into working at specific places according to their job requirements. But we also advise young people not to discriminate about jobs. So if you are given any opportunity to work to advance the cause of your country, commit yourself to it. And I would advise that as many people as possible should not see jobs to be one that is going to be simply employment. There should be people who should go into situations where they can be employers. So we want to encourage a lot of young people into it, create job opportunities for them, and that is exactly the issues we are addressing now. Expose them to situations where they can utilize their potential, bring out something that had not existed, and create job opportunities for themselves and for others. So it is a policy we are driving at, and that's why we have the Youth Employment Agency with all the programs associated with it to run with it and to create opportunities for young people. But you can see the Ejumawura program, you can see the youth employment programs all over the place. You can see the job abroad programs. You can see the includes the widening of scope in government sectors that can create jobs, like the ministries, like the armed forces, the security forces. Because of the 24-hour economy, these are all going to open up for.
Today we are here organizing a consultation, bringing together stakeholders, partners, guests, communities to have one very important conversation: inclusion and justice within the nationally determined contributions for the 3.0 being organized or being developed by Ghana. This NDC have been developed. We've had the first one, we've had the second one, and now we are developing the third one. But the question keeps on that we keep on asking is, how inclusive is it? Is it representative of communities? Is it representative of vulnerable voices? How are informal way speakers included, or informal actors included? How are the private entities even included? Those people who are the ones doing most of the emissions, or doing most of or contribute to carbon dioxide emissions and mitigation. So now the question is, if Ghana is developing its plan, the nationally determined contribution, to advance efforts on mitigation and adaptation towards reducing carbon dioxide emission and all the pollutants, how are we embedding just transition principles? And that's why today we brought together young people, we brought together informal waste actors, we brought together marginalized communities who are in those mining areas, who are being influenced, who are facing all those challenges, bringing them together with the ministries, with private sector actors, with the TVET, all the different partners. How can we come together to discuss the inclusion of vulnerable communities, to discuss the inclusion of these frontline actors? For GAYO, we've seen firsthand what it means when inclusion is not prioritized, when young people are not included. And so through our Just Transition portfolio, we've been providing upskilling trainings to young people, providing energy grid, providing energy access to off-grid areas within communities in Ghana, in Senegal, Mali. And we are looking forward to ensuring that whilst Ghana is transitioning, or we are thinking about transitioning, we are embedding within us how we are transitioning justly. And that is one reason, the major reason why we are here today gathered. Luckily enough for us, we're able to bring the Ministry of Labour, the Ministry of Environment and Green Transition. And at the end of this conversation, we don't just want to do the talking. We want to include this conversation in the upcoming NDC 3.0, which is to be submitted in September. In 1 week to come, there'll be a stock take, and we are hoping that from this discussion, we come up with a policy brief outlining the conversation that has happened, the gaps we've identified, and measures to bridge this gap so that it can be included. We are not just developing an NDC 3.0, we are developing an inclusive and contextualized NDC 3.0 that speaks to the nitty-gritties and the happenings within the communities. And that is why the people is developing it. The NDC should not just be the NDC, it should be from the people and for the people. Unfortunately, during the conversations, we have the conversation of whenever the NDCs are developed, for every government that is sitting, it has to be refined to suit their policies that has been enacted. And we are hoping that this continues to happen. Although it's unfortunate that this has to be reviewed every time, but at least it speaks to monitoring and evaluation, what we've been doing, what are the updates, how do we ensure that it is institutionalized at the district level with municipal assemblies. And this is one of the conversations that has emanated from this stakeholder gathering? How do we make this NDC very inclusive within the district, not just being done at the government level or at the global level, but how do we trickle down these solutions and implementations towards the municipal assemblies and the communities, or the young people who are the one creating all those innovative ideas and solutions, to informal waste systems, ecosystem players who are within those communities as well, and to women who are bearing the brunt when it comes to resilience or even climate change.